thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. It's a real good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. Woo! It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up! Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Checked my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah! I know this'll be the day. Everything will be okay. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing on these streets. Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Ain't nobody gonna die today. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Gonna be a good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's beautiful. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. It's a real good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. Woo! It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up! Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Checked my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah! I know this'll be the day. Everything will be okay. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna
Good morning, TNT goers. as you can see, it's just me. I'm sitting on the other side today, and the wife has, I don't know, some board of directors meeting this morning for CCAR. So it's just you and I, and we are going over some items today, this morning on TNT. The two topics are going to be, topic number one is going to be historical housing prices, and I'm going to go over a chart. And with the chart, sometimes you can see stuff. So I'm going to show you a up and a down that we had in the past, and where we are now, and maybe where we're going, I don't know. So we're going to talk about some different historical things and what that means for us today in the real estate market. And then, of course, if it's just us spending time together, I am going to get some time for a Zoho product. So I know you're super excited about that. So Zoho Calendar has an update. Yep, be excited about that. We're going to show that one off. But more importantly, I'm going to show you some things that you could be doing that will make your day just a little bit easier. So maybe it's time to redouble down on Zoho Calendar for you as an agent and make sure that you're successfully using that. So that'll be that. I do have a reminder as well. The reminder is going to be we have no TNT tomorrow. Shana and I both have conflicts at different times. So no TNT tomorrow. We will see you on Monday. Okay? So I know you're all probably super sad right now and we need to get the spirits up again. So we'll do that with roll call. So roll call, I see a bunch of people joining in here, and that is perfect. So thank you guys for joining us. Remember, no tomorrow. I think we're good to go. Let's do this, Omkar. Historical housing prices. We're going to go ahead and look at a chart, because who doesn't like a good chart when it relates to real estate? And what we're going to do is we're going to show you why this feels different than it did in the past. We're going to talk about some big trends that we see here with younger people moving back home, but not so young. They're in their like 30s and 40s, and they're moving back home because they can't afford things as prices are going up. This is really happening. And then we also have people cohabitating together for a little bit longer, and kind of like you'd think about you had a college roommate. It's almost the same thing as an adult roommate, but they're buying houses together. I don't know. And then we have other younger people who are starting to move out because they kind of caught their groove. And we have like these small rental homes going on, and they're not apartments, but they're rental homes. And there's just a lot of items going on. So let's go ahead and share this chart and start to discuss it. All right, so here's our chart. And if we take a look right here at the middle of the graph, you're going to see 0%. So 0% is a line that kind of goes along from left to right. And anything above that line is a positive, and that's going to be housing prices going up. Then we have anything below that line. We're going to see that line is most notably in 2009, and then you'll also see it in 10, 11, and 12. So you're going to see it kind of in the beginning over on the left-hand column, okay? And so those are housing prices going down by a certain percentage. And then obviously above is the ones going up. So what we're going to see is in 2009, we had a housing price overall that went down by more than 10%. So we had negative housing prices or housing growth or shrinkage in values, right? So it went down by more than 10. Then it kind of went back up, and it was a little bit negative. So it was turning more positive than it was before, but it was still negative over the last year. So there was a loss and a loss and a loss, but the most great losses were in 2009. According to this graph. Then what we see is it went up in 2014 roughly, right? So then we recaptured all of this negative. So if we essentially took those two numbers and kind of like swapped them and put them together, we would be almost at zero growth for the years between 2009 and if we looked out all the way maybe to 2015, if we just took that average there, we're at like essentially zero. So it's really crazy that you would go all the way from 2009 all the way out with essentially no growth, right? So we kind of had this pent up, deflation really, because we didn't have inflation in housing prices. And housing prices over a historically long period of time keep up with inflation. And that's what it really is. So housing prices and inflation pretty much move in lockstep if you look at it over a 20, 30, 50-year time frame. They're going to be about the same as inflation over that extended period of time. Now, there's anomalies that we have things that go on that cause more extremes, okay? As noted with 2009, 14, and then what we've seen recently. So we have this other up. So what I showed you before in the early years is we kind of had this up and the down, and then if we average them out, they're about the same. Now, if we kind of take a look over after that, in 2016, 2017, 2018, we kind of started to get back closer to housing prices keeping up with inflation, plus maybe just a little bit to kind of make up. So if we looked at inflationary things being typically 3%, and we're having 4, 5, and 6% growth, then we were, exceeding that by just a little bit, kind of making up, but not fully. Right, so housing prices had kind of stagnated for that whole period of time. Now, we have seen them go up because people's use of the homes has greatly changed. So if I'm looking at the graph and I see this huge up that's going on right now, and then you see like this minor down, but that's like so short of a time frame, I don't really know how to analyze that if it's just seasonally adjusted and it happens to be just a December thing. But we kind of see it going on right now that housing prices seem to have stabilized and going up again. We have multiple offer situations all over the place and prices going above market and all of that. So we're establishing new highs again, showing that it's likely to be that same type of number again this year as it was last year. So I don't see that we have this big up now and that it's necessarily coincided by a huge down, okay? And the reason for that is I see that things have shifted. And when I talk about that, a house is not so fungible. You can't really change a lot of things within it. You can paint the wall pretty easy, but you necessarily can't like move walls and add to it and make it a bigger structure or a smaller structure, specifically a smaller structure, easily, right? So they're kind of like a fixed asset once you put it out there. Now, the items that I'm specifically talking about on why this feels different is because we have several things that we've kind of seen going on. And I believe that Kelly Milligan hit on this during Blast Off, and it was reported back to me through my wife that there were several things going on. So he pointed to a lot of younger couples. Now, everyone has their age that they are, so younger could be anything to most people, right? So there's a lot of 30 and 40-year-olds that had moved out of the house, established themselves, but were maybe boomeranging back to the home. And after being successful and being out, they now can't afford whatever that is. Their life changed. And maybe due to pressures or they wanted to save, or maybe the person that had the home, like their parents had more pressures and didn't have as much stuff, right? But the combining of two households to take care of just the needs of one home has happened. So this is going on with people moving back and kind of cohabitating together, possibly with their parents in most of these situations. So when we have that going on, now the home has to change a little bit. So over time, if you thought about that, would you live in that same place that you grew up in if you brought your kids into the situation now and you're 30 and 40 years old? So if you kind of thought through yourself where you were at. And then ultimately you're like, wow, that house would have to be decidedly different if I was going to be there for a period of time, right? So you now think about how the house would function, and it's possible that you would want something decidedly different. So thus, we kind of have a demand for a different product that's not there. And that's about what we've seen, is that we have a housing shortage as far as quantity goes, but also in quality and in type and in function and how they work. So we definitely have an issue with not enough one-story homes, okay? So as the aging population happens, people don't want to go upstairs, and it becomes more expensive for just the first floor. So that's an example of a housing problem that we have a shortage of in the type and function of home, Okay, so less one stories. But now the homes are going to function different because you would have the parent, or the grandparent in this situation living in the primary bedroom. But all of a sudden now you have kids and grandkids moving back where you might need a bunk room for them to be in. I don't really know. And you need a secondary primary bedroom, probably separated in the home. So that's a totally different function. And what I kind of see building up here is huge demand for a different type of home, okay? And that also goes to the same type of thing if we have younger people who are now moving out of the home, but they can't afford it on their own, so they're cohabitating with another adult, okay? Maybe not like in a relationship type thing, but where they want to have two different things. Almost the same exact thing that I was kind of talking about, where you kind of have two primary bedrooms and primary suites functioning a little bit different. But then all of a sudden they need like an office and a living space over here and another one over here. And, you don't want to have one person having all of this and the other person having like a smaller version of it. So I kind of see the function a little different. And then we have a third anomaly that's kind of going on. So if anyone has been up north of Custer, just north of 380, one road up there, I'm lacking the name of it, but I think it's called the Mansions. And the Mansions are maybe mansion type apartments, but they're single, the majority of them are single story, and they're kind of like duplexes. And I think there's two of them attached to each other. So there's two of them by each other, but they're smaller units. So they might be 1,000 square foot, like a two bedroom apartment would be, but now they're not in a large building, right? And combined they're kind of making this townhouse, but splitting it, but then putting apartments, instead of selling them, they're leasing them, okay? So people want to function like they are homeowners, but they're actually leasing because they don't have these things. So it's a different form. So all of a sudden, if these catch on, and I do highly encourage you to go up and take a look at them, and you can kind of see what's going on here. So go north on Custer, after 380, go one more street, I'm forgetting what that one is, take a right, go down just a little bit, and then it'll be on your right. And I think it's the Mansion something. It's in McKinney, it's in this unincorporated area, and like they're allowed to do some crazy stuff in there, and sometimes things happen, okay? So take a look at that place, but see how this is functioning, and see how you could understand, and just take a look, take a ride through, go into the sales center and see what's going on, right? But within this space, we're seeing something decidedly different than what we would see in a traditional apartment complex. And in doing this, you can see how that's also going to shift. Then we look at other things like, are people going to move into office buildings? Because if no one's going back to the office, what in the world is going on there with office space? How is that going to exist in the future? We have tons of it. And if we're truly able to function from wherever we want, doesn't the home change? Doesn't the office change? Doesn't the office that doesn't need the space anymore, but we have tons of it, change into like some luxury condos or something where you, I don't know, right? Kind of like a New York City approach. Is that going to happen to some of the stuff at Legacy? I'm not sure. But just kind of think through these things. And it's not necessarily supply and demand overall for housing, but I think there's going to be an issue with supply of very specific types of homes, okay, with features and functions that people desire in the current market. So imagine now if we have all these different properties that are not demanded. How does that change, right? So I think we have this paradigm shift of what's going on. And it's not just zooming from home and working from home. These are kind of like bigger shifts that kind of go on with generational differences, and it's kind of a generational real estate shift that's going on, more so of the cohabitating and what's going on there. Just trying to bring some of these items up so you can think and ponder on what's going on and kind of foresee these things. Good ideas to be able to talk with your clients about, to have them look at and kind of understand. And if you are looking for something new, right? We're kind of looking at right behind us here is a 1-story. This is the back of a home. And you can kind of see the pool behind us over here. And what you notice, it's mostly a 1-story. And then there's like some small bonus space upstairs on the other side. So is this kind of the future of what we're looking at, more of a sprawling 1-story? So chat in now what your thoughts are on this. I'd like to hear your opinions as we kind of look at this and see how it functions for you. But understand some of these trends because I believe they are real. And I only see real estate continuing on this trend, and then it exacerbates that issue of affordability of people. So then all of a sudden things start changing, like you're going to have to drive further and new areas open up. But now if new areas are opening up, it's going to take a long time to build out. I just really don't see this changing for the foreseeable future, right? And I was on the train that we're going to have some correction in what's going on as the interest rates started to go up and as things changed. Now, we kind of can't always have this perpetual going up, and that kind of has to stop. And it'll be a little bit of pressure as interest rates go up. But people seem to have enough capital right now that they would be putting down that extra money, right, on the properties. And because right now they're going above and beyond. And they're bidding above and putting additional money down. So they're effectively going above kind of this 20% down that they're putting down in most situations. And if they're doing that, then can't they really just put more money down and actually afford a higher interest rate that's going on? There's a lot of pent-up savings and a lot of demand. So for the foreseeable future, I may have been wrong that I predicted in the past that we would see a slowdown come next fall is when I had initially looked at the next slowdown. But with all of this extra demand that's kind of cycling behind here, I kind of see the same thing going on, and I'm going to probably modify that forecast going forward. So that's all I have. That was a lot of discussion about historical prices, the charts, and taking a look, but more the pent-up demand for very, very specific homes. Give me a call if you have any questions. We'll talk about it. Well, that's super disappointing. I didn't get to talk about Zoho with you, and I'm sure you're really, really upset. Omkar went straight to that's a wrap. So for everybody out there, congratulations. No Zoho talk for you today, but we will get to it. Don't worry. Don't worry at all. No tomorrow. Shana and I both have conflicts. We will see you a little bit later. Just keep working, but be happy. Be really happy with where we're currently at. Be super fortunate for everything that we kind of have going on in our market. There's pressures every day. I hear from agents all the time that have challenges with getting this deal accepted, and like, how do I explain to this person that this is what it's going to be? How do I tell this younger person they don't get what their parent had? How do I, whatever, okay? Let's focus on the positives, that we have a great market, that your skills are really in demand. You can't take and automate your job as a realtor in this type of environment. There's all these pressures to do that. But then throw the computer out the window when all of a sudden all this stuff starts going on, right? This is something that takes the human interaction, and it takes a great person like you to help guide. I'm excited for your future. See you Monday. Pitch time. Down? Why down? I like up. All right. What you got? Whatever you got. I don't mind if I look stupid.
It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up. Na 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 na. like my nails looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah. I know this'll be the day. Everything will be okay. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing on these streets. Oh yeah. Ain't nobody gonna cry tonight.